Hello, YouTube. You know, it's funny how the difference, or what difference a few years can make, or how much can change in a few years. Because there was a time, believe it or not, where I would have probably have insulted Republicans more than Democrats. In fact, there were times where I pretty much wanted to say more about Democrats and talk more about Democrats, but never did because the Republicans kept doing something stupid or said or something stupid or fucked something up. But at this point in history, that's no longer the case. Now I can't ever talk about Republicans or what I might disagree with them on. For example, I kind of wanted to make a video on a number of issues. Transgender bathrooms. There was a issue with the military. Trump didn't want transgender people in the military. I didn't agree with that. Transgender bathroom rights. I wanted to support them on that. I wanted to support them about abortion, minus partial birth abortion. And I also wanted to make a video against Democrats about partial birth abortion and why I don't support that. But guess what? I can't get around to any of that. And you know why? Because every time I want to talk about the Republicans or talk about a number of things, the Democrats will go and do something so incredibly fucking stupid, I have to come back to them. And again, I have talked about before, I am on the autistic or autism spectrum. And I have Asperger's syndrome, and I have some problems with being obsessive or having problems with obsession. But at this point, I'm going to have to now talk about, once again, who else but everyone's favorite bunch of lunatics, the Democrats. And in this case, not feminists, not political correctness so much even, but there was an incident where a group of school students who were wearing Trump hats. You know, he is the president of America. That's not against the law. That's not illegal. As far as I know, it's not even against school rules. He's the president. But they were wearing Trump hats. And they were on a field trip, and they, for some reason, were left in an area where there was an indigenous march for indigenous people. As far as I know, this isn't close to Columbus Day, so I don't know why that was. But they were having a march. And they did nothing wrong, and there was a group of black Israelites who are basically a black supremacist group who hate white people, as well as Jews and gay people, by the way. They hate them too. And they're a bunch of assholes. Let's just put it that way. And they start screaming white motherfucker and screaming all kinds of insults at them, accusing them of being future school shooters. They started accusing them of being future school shooters. Fucking up. They started accusing them of being future school shooters. They started accusing them of being future child molesters. Accused them of being racist. Accused them of being Nazis. Said they were inbred. Called them rednecks, of course. All this bullshit for a bunch of college kids that's raiding in the middle of nowhere to get picked up by their parents or wherever, or a bus or wherever, because they were on a field trip. Did nothing wrong. So they start chanting their school chants at them. They didn't chant build a wall or any of that bullshit, like the news supposedly reported. They never did any of that. And they were calling them this shit, and then an Indian, I guess because they told this Indian guy that they were there to start trouble, and this Indian who knew nothing about them, goes up and stands up there for about 3 fucking minutes and just starts banging a wall and chanting. This kid stands there with a goofy ass smile because he doesn't know what to do. And he just stands there. He doesn't do anything wrong. Granted, the Indian really didn't do anything wrong either in this case. Neither one did. But the point is, they just stand there looking at each other like a bunch of idiots. You know, go ahead and make out, I guess. So CNN, probably trying to top BuzzFeed, who ran that ridiculous fucking report that Trump's lawyer said that he was told to lie for Trump, and then later on said that never happened. Even the guy running the investigation into Trump, it's been 2 years now, and they've come up with nothing. Into Russians and whatever. Those same fucking asshats, pretty much, or the guy running the investigation said, no, that never happened. I'm tired of hearing about this. It never happened. He never said he lied for Trump. And CNN still hasn't apologized, and they're still pretty much reporting the same thing. And then they didn't show 40-something minutes of video footage leading into this of the black guy screaming at these white kids. They didn't show I don't know, 20, 30 more fucking minutes of video footage of these black guys screaming at these fucking people after the Indian left. All they showed was this Indian chanting at this fucking white guy with a goofy look on his face and said the white guy was trying to start a fucking fight with the goddamn Indians. And of course that never happened. And of course, once again, they don't fucking remove the story. And I guess what I'm trying to say here is, they're fake fucking news. Trump's right. There's no denying that at this point. They're propaganda. And while in this case I don't think they outright lied, I think what's more important is they didn't care that they lied or not. They probably would want it to be true, so you don't have a right-wing backlash once people find out it's bullshit, and you got to know that's going to happen. But they lied. But they didn't. Once they knew that it was wrong, they didn't say it didn't happen. They continue to lie. They still want people to believe that it didn't happen. No one believes them. So they don't care that they lied, and they're willing to lie if that's what it takes to hammer the propaganda home. Like Bush once said, you have to kind of catapult the propaganda, and that's what they're doing. And even in some cases, like in this case, when it's obvious they lied, and they would make themselves look better if they would simply admit they lied and retract the story and say it didn't happen, even though it would make them look better, they still don't do that because they're too they're egomaniacal, they're too arrogant to fucking just say, hey, we were wrong. So they can't do that. So they're fake news, they're propaganda, they're liars, they don't tell the truth, they don't get stories right, they don't admit they're wrong when they are. You can't trust them. You'd have to be an idiot to trust CNN, for example, for news, or BuzzFeed, or any of those websites. And, again, these are the same fucking people that accuse Trump of lying. And they try to say Republicans are fascist. Meanwhile, they're mad at a kid for standing in a fucking group waiting to get picked up by a bus or his parents or whatever from a field trip, and he's just standing there and doing nothing while Indians in his face chanting and black people are calling him a cracker and everything else. And that's supposed to be okay. But not him standing there just smiling at them. Because that's really what they don't want you to do. They don't want you to stand up for yourself. They don't want you to stand your ground. They want you to be a fucking pussy. That's what they're about. And you're going to give those assholes your fucking guns. The same people, by the way, they've had motherfuckers talking about getting a mob together and killing this guy, threatening his life, beating him up, attacking him. They want to destroy his life. They don't want to get a job or anything else because he was part of a group, standing in a group, smiling at someone that's fucking harassing him. And the kid really doesn't even know what the fuck's going on. He's just fucking part of a group that was on a field trip. And then you have that fucking crazy ass bitch, Kathy Griffin, who talks about something about docks. What is docking? Is that like with a guy they put their dicks together? What is that? I don't even know what that is. But if you don't think he'll dox you, I guess that's I don't know, discriminate against someone somehow. I have no idea what that even means. Maybe I'm a little bit behind on the times. I need to catch up with this shit. I try to avoid human civilization as much as possible, but I guess I have to catch up if I'm going to talk about this. But the point is, she says, I want to know names, I want fucking names, about these people in this video standing around that I know jack shit about. Well, I don't believe in violence, I don't support violence, but let me tell you something, you get your fucking hive-minded collectivist blind mob or your red brigade, communist brigade together, and you bring them my way, honey, because I will slap your fucking brainwashed, Heaven's Gate cult-looking, ugly, bald ass so hard you'll grow hair back. And again, hey, violence, you're threatening people's lives. You're saying you want to kill people. You're trying to get mobs together. You want to ruin their life. You are the most violent people on the planet. No wonder people hate you. This is what's killing the damn liberal movement in America. This is what's killed liberalism. You have fallen very far since the fucking 60s. You have become a bunch of pestilent children who have gotten so much of what you want that when you don't get what you want, you throw tantrums, and you're losing because of it, and you have no idea what you're doing wrong because you're stupid. You are fucking this country, and you fucked yourselves. You have fucked the Democratic Party, even. And hey, as many problems as I have with Trump, I will vote for him 1,000,000 times over again. And of course, I can't. I can only vote once. But if I could, I would vote 1,000,000 times over again for that motherfucker before I would ever vote for you once. You have fucked this country, and you are fucked. And you are fucking us. Take 666.